And of course, we are psychological beings. The age of enlightenment has happened. We need to perceive our psychology and be able to bring a more spiritual perception to it so that we can maximize the good bits and minimize the bad bits. And another wonderful feature from Vedic astrology, and I do combine Vedic and Western astrology in all my astrology readings. Another wonderful feature unique to Vedic astrology is the nakshatras. Those are the 27 lunar signs. The declaration the nakshatras can offer is supreme. To know which nakshatra your planets are in, each of them, gives a supreme declaration of your emotionally based state of consciousness and your identity. And the declaration the nakshatras offer, they're thousands of years old, are very warts and all. So if you can be open to the truth, you can say, oh, I'm doing the bad bits again, and sort of laugh about it with whoever you might be sharing it with or with yourself. Be kind, but maximize the good features with which you were gifted when you were born into this incarnation. So just at the start of October 2020, basically Mars is angrily retrograding at the beginning of Aries and into Pisces. And so he will go through that Gandanta I told you about between Pisces and Aries. In fact, he's going to be pretty well on top of my moon, which I don't find easy, because being a Pisces moon, I'm sort of super sensitive and can get fearful and upset by Mars. But Venus has just been going through the Cancer-Leo Gandanta. In other words, from Ashlesha Nakshatra to Magha Nakshatra. So Venus has been in the Gandanta. And at the same time, hugely important, with the change of sign of the nodes of the moon at the end of September, Ketu is now transiting at the very end of Vedic Scorpio. Ketu has gone from Vedic Sagittarius to Vedic Scorpio, in other words, from Mula Nakshatra, ruled by Ketu, to Jyesta Nakshatra, ruled by Mercury. And you see, the nodes of the moon are hugely powerful. Their energy is perceived as demon-like, in fact, although they can be a gateway to the divine. And so when the nodes are activated like this, it brings weather turbulence, internet disturbance. And it has actually, certainly within my awareness here in Ireland, brought like a bit of a second wave to coronavirus, which I predicted back in March would happen September, October. Because in fact the original energy bringing coronavirus to humanity was Rahu transiting through Ardra Nakshatra. Well, since then Rahu has left Ardra Nakshatra and is in Mrigashira Nakshatra, ruled by Mars. And Mrigashira spans Vedic Gemini to Vedic Taurus. Rahu has gone from Gemini to Taurus, but is still in Mrigashira Nakshatra, ruled by Mars, now in the early part of Mrigashira. And there's, just one huge thing, Rahu is in a nakshatra ruled by Mars, and Ketu is in Scorpio, the sign he co-rules, in the Gandanta. His energy is cutting and extreme. This is the time now that we're in at the beginning of October. Okay, so, I'm sorry to have to state that this astrology is unusual and extreme. And I've covered Saturn and I've covered the nodes changing signs. But the other thing to remember in this initial summary, and there are 6 parts to our October astrology and healing presentation. The other part is Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. This is huge. It hasn't been seen here for hundreds of years. And so Saturn is structure and limits. Pluto smashes away at it. Pluto is the shadow, or it is power. And Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is getting ever closer and closer to Pluto, and they're, if you like, fighting it out with Saturn, who places his karmic demands. So the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction gets exact on the 12th of November. And Jupiter-Pluto, well, we'll be going into it in part 2, but it's about plutocracy and power. And of course the shadow, Pluto is our shadow, and we humans stuff so much into our shadow that in fact, it's cutting off shame and guilt and wounds. But if we can visit the shadow and come to a proper arrangement with the shadow material, we can arise empowered and more beautiful and become more of the fullness of ourself that was meant for this lifetime. So the point is, and I'm closing the initial summary now for October 2020, we have to face Saturn's demands: patience, diligence, structure, hard work, tying up loose ends in our life or karmically. We might be a bit sort of fooled about the extent of Saturn's demands because of the Jupiterian wow burst. Jupiter going forward recently in his own sign Sagittarius, but we know it doesn't last long, wonderful and necessary though it is. And of course Jupiter connects to Pluto, and so we are being offered the Saturn-related possibility of smashing our prison walls, smashing the walls of our false identity imposed on us by our parents maybe, or this society, and ourselves, and arising. But we have to understand what Saturn wants, what Jupiter is bringing us, and we have to do the deep work that Pluto demands. So, at the same time, we have to acknowledge the weirdness of like 3 planets at the moment in the immaterial Gandanta zones. But if we can hear these different bits, this can hopefully open each one of us to a vastness of inspiration. So you can get an astrology reading with me, enroll on my Starwheel Astrology Buy page, and you can see my wife Maggie Pashley's vast range of healing modalities worldwide on her website www.maggiepashley.com. I'll just end with the lunations. The full moon is on October the 1st at 15 Pisces in mystical Uttarabhadra Nakshatra, whose power animal is the male lion. Opposite it is the sun at 15 Virgo in Hasta Nakshatra, and Hasta is the symbol is the hand. It's about dexterity and special skills and can be duplicity. And so the full moon unifies those 2 energy identities. And in Western astrology, that's moon at 9 Western Aries and sun at 9 Western Libra. Now on the 16th of October, just to close, the new moon is on the 16th of October. It's at 29 Virgo, at the very end of Vedic Virgo, in Chitra Nakshatra, which actually spans the end of Virgo and the beginning of Libra. And Chitra Nakshatra's power animal is the female tiger. And, you should try and take care not to upset a female tiger. The Sun, of course, is also there at 29 Virgo in Chitra Nakshatra. And Chitra, this new moon, which sets a period for the lunation time to come, Chitra is about special skills. And it's presided over by Vishvakarma, the heavenly architect. So you might want to make new moon intentions on the 16th of October about looking into your special skills, choosing which to particularly manifest in the period running up to the following full moon. And by the way, just to remind you that if you want the charts for all this, go to my October webpage on my Starwheel Astrology newsletter, on my Starwheel Astrology website. And if you want to book a reading with me, go to the buy page on my Starwheel Astrology website. Okay, now please go to the next video and blog, which is part 2 of the October newsletter. Deeper focus on Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto in October 2020. Thank you.